The practice of counselling is typically poorly represented in Star Trek.
Nothing. I sense nothing.
But there is one scene that really struck me as ringing completely true, and you won't believe what show it's in. No. Nope. It's actually... I'm not kidding, and I'll show you what I mean. But first of all, some context. The crew of Discovery have been flung very far into the future, and there is an extinction level event that they are at the forefront of tackling. It's a cryptic race called the DMA. Tensions are very high, and in this scene, the ship's doctor, Culber, has arranged a chat with a very enigmatic Dr. Kovich. What he does is a little unclear, but let's just say he's a busy man, not given to niceties, and his time, even his holographic presence, is more precious than dilithium. The scene starts with Culber almost clumsily barging through the holographic presence of Dr. Kovich. Note that he just fiddles with some prop on the table. He's anxious and flighty. Kovich does not match that energy. Culber immediately says that they must reschedule. Kovich calmly points out that no, they do have time set aside for this.
I'm sorry, we have to reschedule.
There are others assisting in your absence. You can spare 10 minutes. You were the one who requested this meeting.
Yes, sir, but that was before I knew about the evacuations. We have hundreds of refugees coming on board.
Kovich adopts a very straightforward, logical approach in contrast to Culber's, let's face it, manipulative attempt to drag refugees and duty into the conversation.
I'm a busy man, Dr. Culber. I cleared the time for you.
By saying this, Kovich is forcing Culber to think about what he's come here for and smothers the excuses. It diffuses Culber's apparent anxiety about this pressing, time-sensitive issue without dismissing it. Kovich acknowledges the urgency by mentioning his own pressing engagements, but still does not match Culber's unhelpful manic energy. He doesn't add to the storm of nervousness. Then, he says,
We both know how this works. We can skip the therapeutic niceties. What do you need?
This is a valid question. It's direct, but Culber came in making demands, and this question is impossible to ignore. Kovich doesn't match the energy, but he does match Culber's intensity. It actually does show openness, and again flatly squashes the "I don't have time for this" excuse.
Well, you're familiar with my duties as ship's counselor. And I saw how you were with Giorgio when she was in crisis, so...
You need brutal honesty. Noted.
Well, that's a big swing, but it is a direct response to something that Culber said that he wanted. It's followed up with a time check.
We now have 8.5 minutes.
It's almost like a game of poker, and Kovich shows he's going to match and raise and will not fold.
Well, the DMA has brought up a lot of, fear and uncertainty for the crew.
Pretty obvious how he said that last bit. It's a way of sort of generalizing and dispersing the issue. There's resistance from Culber in acknowledging his problem, but Kovich is bound to catch it.
So I've offered them hope. I've told them that, it won't last forever, that we'll find a way to stop it. I recently worked with someone whose entire world was destroyed.
Mr. Booker.
This is a great interjection from Kovich. It shows an awareness of the situation, and it alleviates any possibility of Culber going off on a tangent. It keeps the conversation focused on the doctor.
I almost admitted to him that, I'm struggling. And it made me realize that, I've been lying. I am failing.
Now we're getting to the real issue. Culber has committed the two greatest sins in the mind of a genuinely good person. One, he may not be able to single-handedly help everyone, and two, he may need to ask for help himself.
I am failing.
And you want me to affirm that you're failing because you're seeking permission to take a break?
That's not what I said at all.
Yes, it is.
You know what? This isn't helpful. I gotta go.
You died. You died and came back to life.
A lot got said. It was too much for Kolber, and again he tried to bail rather than confront his problems. For context, it is something that happened earlier in the show. It was a sci-fi death with a workaround, and obviously Kolber got better. But he did die. When Kovic bluntly reminds him in this way,
You died.
it does three things. One, it shows that Kovic fully understands what's happened to the people with whom he works. Along with instantly knowing the name of the man whose home was destroyed earlier, it lends a tremendous amount of credibility to anything that Kovic says. Two, it stops Kolber from leaving. It's an emotional gut punch. No one is leaving on that note. It creates such a reaction that it stops the flighty Dr. Kolber in his tracks and brings him right back into the conversation. Three, when you say it out loud, you died, who couldn't deny that that would earn someone some leeway?
You died and came back to life. Little wonder you're a mess.
Okay, that's a very raw way of putting it, but Kovic has been a brutally honest and demanding conversationalist. He's not wishy-washy, he's not patronising, and he's not given to false platitudes. Kolber could do any number of things right here. You might expect that his ego would kick in, he'd take offence and get defensive. That doesn't happen. It's obvious that Kovic is onto something. This is exactly how Kolber views himself. Kovic just said out loud something that was a personal taboo for Kolber. He made it real. He's implying that you're allowed to not be perfect.
You want me to just pick up where we left off as if nothing happened? You have no idea!
And if a guy like Kovic says it, you can take that to the bank.
Your file is stunningly generic as to your feelings on this rather unique fact of your existence, so allow me to fill in some blanks. No one else gets a second chance, so why me? And that led you to a savior complex, because if there is no reason, if there is no purpose, then your very existence is a middle finger to anyone who's ever lost someone, which is everyone.
Kovic elicited the idea of survivor's guilt. Does Kolber feel like it's unfair that he is still alive when so many other people have died or are suffering? Is Kolber allowed to feel bad when he gets something that virtually nobody else ever gets? Is he worried that other people might view him with jealousy because of it?
How's that for brutal honesty?
Do you have a recommendation to go along with that sparkling analysis?
Wow, Kolber changed his tune quickly. He went from avoidant to confrontational. The spiteful barb is defensiveness, but the question is sincere. He's angry and vulnerable. You don't often get this in Star Trek.
Whether or not you were a miracle, Dr. Kolber, you are only human. You need to allow yourself time to rest, as you advise your patients.
That's a brilliant way for Kovic to put it. Kolber can't argue against himself and his training here. This also pierces an assumption that Kolber had that he is somehow special. He needed someone to say, no, you're just like everyone else. This feels like taking him down a peg, and in a way, it is. It also may be the single best way to resolve his guilt and confront his self-imposed stress. Dying did not make him superhuman. He can be as vulnerable, frail, and conflicted as anyone else. And that's okay.
Well, I can't just stop. Not now, anyway. It's what I do. It's who I am. It's
the way you escape the persistent guilt of being alive. But if you don't find fulfillment in something other than work, then you will fail those in the chair in front of you.
That feels almost like a logic puzzle, but it is correct. Kolber is on the brink of burnout. If that happens, how does that help his patients? And what example is he setting for them and everyone that he's helped? I'm going to use the C word again, credibility. If Kolber can't look after himself, then what does that mean for anything he has or will say to the people that he's counselling? He has to set an example.
I have a 2 o'clock. Goodbye.
Okay, maybe that was a little bit too blunt, but I guess the implication is that Dr. Kolber knows that he can reach out, and maybe this was done to inspire the doctor to consider what was said. Pretty much everything that needed to be said has been at this point. One thing it does do is demonstrate what Kovich was saying with an actual demonstration. He's considering his needs and responsibilities. If Kovich allowed himself to overrun here, he would have violated his own boundaries after having instructed Culber to develop his own. In my opinion, this is a perfectly written scene. It's performed with expertise and nuance by Wilson Cruz as Dr. Culber and David Cronenberg as Kovich. Yes, the legendary horror director David Cronenberg. I'd love to know if you have any thoughts on this scene or any suggestions for future videos. Till next time, thank you for watching and do look after yourself.